News Radio 1020 KDKA, John McIntyre live from the Duquesne Light Home and Garden Show. We'll get to all of that later, but first let's speak live on the line to one of the best comedians in the history of comedy. She's doing a big show in Pittsburgh at the Benedum Center on Sunday, March 26th. Kathy Griffin. Kathy, welcome to the program. And she'll be on momentarily. She's a very busy woman. You can't just expect her to talk to somebody right away. She's Kathy Griffin, for crying out loud. In fact, I was watching her the other day on a CNN documentary about women in comedy. It was awesome, and she had an interesting contribution. So once again, we call out to the human beings out in Radio Land and see if Kathy Griffin is there. Once again, she's not there. This actually might be funnier than the segment would have been otherwise, but probably not, because she's a very funny, very accomplished comedian. Started out with the Groundlings, among other things, a fantastic L.A. improv troupe. Kathy Griffin, welcome to the program. Yeah, it's definitely funnier than it would have been, I think. I think sometimes misfortune, people just like to laugh at bad things happening. Technical difficulties. Kathy Griffin joins us. Hi, Kathy. This is actually quite comical. This is much funnier than my last comedy show. Not nearly as funny as Kathy Griffin, though. Okay, so the Delta Foundation is the leading LGBT advocacy group in the area, and you've heard many of the Delta Foundation folks on our radio shows, including Gary Van Horn and Chris Bryan, who represent the organization well. So in part, this is a benefit, the March 26th show on Sunday for the Delta Foundation. We are in the process of apparently getting our technical difficulties settled so that we may actually speak telephonically, as they used to say. As another great woman comedian used to say on Laugh-In back in the day, Lily Tomlin. Kathy Griffin will be with us momentarily, and then we will focus on the Duquesne Light Home and Garden Show live at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. I'm looking out at the 9th Street Bridge, which is adorned with flashing purple, blue, and red lights.
John, are we back?
We are. Kathy Griffin, thank you so much.
I hear you, John McIntyre.
I've been talking to myself for 10 minutes here, and it's really not nearly as good as talking to you. I can guarantee
you
that.
You should know that I thought you could hear me the whole time. I was killing on this phone interview. I mean, I was...
Are you serious?
You were loving it.
Well,
I killed. I almost dropped the phone instead of a mic. That's how hilarious I was during the technical difficulties. I promise I was a riot.
All right, well, I'll talk swiftly, because I've killed about 9 minutes of a one-segment interview. By the way, have you ever been to Pittsburgh before? You performed here?
Yes, I love Pittsburgh. How could I not? It's, everything from Permanente Brothers to, Mario Lemieux. I mean, you people have everything. Oh, I have a story for you.
Yes.
I have a book that came out in November called Kathy Griffin Celebrity Run-Ins.
Cool.
And I'm doing this 50-city tour to support the book, but I'm not going to, read the book on stage or anything. I'm doing all new material. But one of the run-ins that I didn't get to put in the book because it happened after the book was I got to have dinner with Wayne freaking Gretzky.
Wow.
I know. You wouldn't think that, right? But I am a secret hockey fan. And even though I'm Chicago and I've loved the Hawks, I sought out the company of Wayne Gretzky, and he and his wife came to my show, and he even bought a T-shirt. And I have a great picture of myself backstage with Wayne Gretzky wearing a Kathy Griffin concert T-shirt.
That's like having dinner with Michael Jordan if you're a basketball fan, or Babe Ruth if you're a baseball fan, or whatever. Wow, that's wild.
I love it. I love seeking out people, celebrities or otherwise, that are fascinating for any reason. And
was Wayne Gretzky fascinating?
We have a new president. And I call him the president because you can't call president in a tweet, and I guess I'll just call him the president. But he is giving up the comedy gold every day, day in and day out, which I will be bringing to the Benedum because it's now on everybody's mind. Look, I used to go on stage, and maybe I could just do an hour just talking about the new cast of Dancing with the Stars. But now they're in the administration, so it's different. So I have got to go out there, and I cannot wait to hit the stage on Sunday, March 26th, because I actually know Trump. I've had actual run-ins with him.
I thought I've actually seen that.
Years.
So what do you think of him?
Well, I think he's, a moron. I also think he's mentally ill, and I'm being kind. I think he's what I call aggressively stupid. There's those people that aren't as bright as you thought they would be. It somehow went to Wharton for 2 years, not 4, by the way. But and then there's those people that are almost proud of being ignorant. I think he would fall into that category. But I will say it may not be the best time to be a citizen, but it's a great time to be a comic.
I am just a local comic here in Pittsburgh, but my last show I had double the number I've ever had in my life, and everybody said it was just because they were anti-Trump, like-minded people.
No, it's really true. I mean, I read a great article in the New York Times about how Samantha Bee and all these comedy shows are doing better than they ever have because folks that are like-minded, and by the way, being like-minded doesn't mean you have to hate Trump. I mean, I don't hate Trump. I'm fascinated by him, but I don't hate him. But you have to be able to make fun of him because, A, we should make fun of every president. Like, that's important for comics to keep making fun of people in power. So whether it's a celebrity, but more importantly, this administration is, I mean, they really kicked the Kardashians' butt. I thought the Kardashians had everything, but this administration, and I by the way, I hope they end up on the E! Channel where they belong. Some of them will have to do it remote from jail. So I think this administration will end up being a combination of like a reality show, Kardashian spinoff, maybe kind of the Rob and China level, or just lock up Raw.
So are you doing much more political stuff than normally and less celebrity-oriented stuff, or half and half? Or
you know, it's funny. They're all converged now because my Trump stories also include other celebrities. I mean, I have a story in the book about a day where Trump hoodwinked me into hosting one of his charity events, and we don't know where the money ended up, right? But but I did, and flew all the way out to one of his golf courses on the East Coast, and then Liza Minnelli was the headliner. So I have a story in my book, and I'm happy to tell it to anyone who listened about spending the day with Trump driving a golf cart and Liza Minnelli and myself in the back. And now that I know what I know about him, I think I should have made Liza and I hop off a lot sooner. I'm lucky he didn't just wrap us around a tree because he thought it was, Obama like trying to, jump out at him or something.
But there was no attempt to grab anybody by the Minnelli or anything. There was no.
If he would try to grab Liza's, you know what, he would have to get through me, and that was not going to happen on my watch. Let me tell you that much. But yeah,
by the way,
he is comedy gold, but all of them, like the Kellyanne Conway, the Steve Bannon with the, I call it weekend meth. I can't prove he's a meth head, but he reminds me of people that I have seen on Intervention.
So he seems.
I think this whole administration is kind of like an episode of Intervention. So it could be at the end where an interventionist comes in and maybe they just all go to Promises, a rehab facility in Malibu where I believe Britney Spears was once a happy patient. And that's what I'm saying. It's all one now. Like, the Trump stuff is not that different from the Kardashians. The things that we hear on the news is really not that different from things that my 96-year-old drunk mother says every day. Like, that's what's crazy, is my 96-year-old mom who drinks a half a box of Franzia boxed wine, and no, I'm not a paid spokesperson, a day is sounding a little too much like things coming out of the White House press briefings. In fact, I would happily nominate my mother for president and my dog Larry for vice president, and I think we'd be in better hands.
96 years old, though. That's awesome.
96 years old, and she's still got fighting words. She came over to my house for 3 days last week. She kind of goes back and forth between her rockin' retirement village and my house, and I moved recently. And so I moved out of the house from my Life on the D-List and my talk show, which I loved, but I moved to be closer to my mom, and I swear I'm not making this up. My new neighbors are, and I mean like 15 feet away, not down the block, not nearby. My next-door neighbors are Kim Kardashian West and Kanye Kardashian West.
Come on.
I swear to you, that's true. Can you believe it? My act lives next door. It's fantastic.
Most celebrities appreciate when you make fun of them, but some have not over the years. Do I have that right?
Yes, but I tried to make an arrangement with Kim. I said, look, here's the deal. Joan Rivers, as you know, my dear, dear friend and mentor who's left this earth, but we think of her every day. She and Liz Taylor were actually good friends, and Kim Kardashian worshipped Elizabeth Taylor. So I said to Kim, Joan and Liz Taylor had an arrangement, which is that Joan could basically say whatever she wanted about Elizabeth Taylor, and then Elizabeth Taylor and Joan were friends in real life, and Joan would just go make her laugh. So I said, all right, does that work for you? And she goes, okay. I said, okay, that's the deal.
Cool.
So I still get to speak about the Kardashians in the manner to which, let's just say, my audience has become accustomed. And then if Kim is having a bad day, I'll go over there and give her a little private show for a few minutes. Not the kind of private show she's famous for.
I understand.
Just jokes.
So Let me ask you one final question. I saw you on the CNN Women in Comedy documentary the other day, and you had an awesome contribution. Cool. It was way cool, and the whole documentary was good. Women finally getting their due in comedy, or still so many evil comedy men trying to push them aside?
Yeah, evil comedy men trying to push them aside.
Okay.
Look, I say that as a bitter 56-year-old chick who's like still in the game. So I just have decades of experience with, I mean, like to this day, I was on the road because I'm doing 50 cities on this tour, which I love. I love it.
Yeah.
And, I'm seeing the real America. Fox News has nothing on me, baby. it ain't all Pittsburgh, honey. Sometimes you're in Potawatomi adjacent or Birmingham adjacent. But I will go wherever people want to laugh. So the sexism thing is still bad. The ageism thing is still bad. So darn it, I'm all about breaking records. I have done 23 stand-up comedy specials that were televised. I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records. I wrote every word in every one of them, more than any comedian.
I saw that. You've literally been on television in the form of a special more than any other comedian in history on television.
Yes, and I did it just to show, like, okay, chicks are funny, I promise. And if nothing else, I'm prolific as heck. But, yeah, I have 2 Emmys and a Grammy, so I do feel as a chick comic, as I love to refer to myself, it's just all about working harder, jumping higher, and one of the things that I love to do, and the reason I keep touring is, there's nothing like the freedom of the live stage. There's no censorship. You're not beholden to a network or a studio. You can really, really let the fur fly, and that's really what I love about live touring, and that's what I'm going to bring to the stage at the Benedum. So it's not going to be for the faint of heart. I am not afraid of a good, healthy walkout.
Wow, I'm going to have to show up at this. This sounds fantastic. Sunday, March 26th, 7:30 p.m., Benedum.Center, Pittsburgh.net. Tickets are selling like hotcakes, but there's a few left, so I'd get them tonight if I were you. Kathy Griffin, thanks so much for being on the program tonight.
Oh, John, you're awesome. And honestly, everybody follow John on Twitter. His jokes are hilarious, and then go see him live.
Yeah, by the way, I'm from Kankakee, Illinois. You're part of the woods, sort of, neck of the woods.
Right on. All right, Illinois in the house, Kankakee. All right, my friend, keep doing it. You're
all right,
hilarious,
have a good one.
Thank you very, very much.
You are much more so. I'll check you out on the 26th. Have a great night.
I'll be there.